Hello, welcome pen friends and ink friends, because today I'm really excited about the video that I'm going to do for you. A couple days ago I came on heavily inspired, completely inspired by Hemingway Jones and his rating of the ink brands, and so I did it myself too and released that video. But what was really in my heart was the ink, rating the ink brands, and I knew it was going to be a gargantuan task because I have seen so many different inks in samples and bottles, and largely thanks to you all, viewers and pen friends and pen pals, sending me samples over the years, over the last 9 years. So this one's for you because I've got so many thoughts. Like, I was even thinking about another video because I think with each ink brand, one word always seems to come to mind immediately when I think of each brand. But I'm not prepared to do that with each and every one today. So what we'll do is I've created a similar ink rating system, very much like what I had for, and this one's down here, for the pens, but not exactly the same because ink is different and there's considerations, with ink. So I kind of had a chance yesterday on a road trip to kind of, turn that over in my mind and see what I wanted the 5 categories and then the incomplete to be like. But I'll say right off the bat, I only really evaluated 18 different pen brands, but it's a whole different world when it comes to ink. So I've got 44 little sticky notes, 44 ink brands to talk about. And then I finally, at the end, I did one large sticky note where I just copied down several different brands where I knew automatically they would end up for sure in the incomplete category. Like, I haven't had enough experience with them, but I didn't want to have them go unacknowledged because they are some of the ones that you guys have sent and I have studied, I have written with them, but I don't feel like I can make even a slight generalization about some of them. And then, there's going to be a few, and I will disclose which ones they are, where I probably had not to be making a generalization about them because maybe it's based entirely on one absolutely astounding ink that I love, but pretty much for everything else that's not on that one big sticky, and we'll look at it here in a minute, then you'll know that I've had some experience, more than one for sure. And with most of these, I've had like 5 or 6 different samples at least in each brand. So that's a pretty unique perspective, I think, at least for somebody with my budget. It is. I mean, I couldn't have and wouldn't have, pursued each and every one of these, on my own. I would have bankrupted myself. But ink is interesting, though, and I wanted to throw this out there in that it's not as big of an investment. Even if it's an expensive bottle of ink, it's often nowhere near the price of a pen, and depending, there's a lot of variation there. And the other thing is, which we'll look at, is that price. Yeah, well, it's the same subject. Price is, I haven't even caffeinated myself yet, and I'm so excited about this. I really am. I thought, well, I better do it before I drink my coffee because I might just take off like a rocket right out of my chair if I if I drink my coffee first, even though it's like half decaf. But price is not as big of a thing. It's like number 5 on my criteria list, and I have other criteria. And also I have dropped one criteria. When I was younger, and you guys probably remember, or back in the day, I know I used to say I wanted them to be shaders, and I do like shading inks, but that's no longer even makes my 5 criteria. So that's interesting to me, but it's just changed. Boy, can I appreciate a good ink that cleans out well, flows well, and doesn't give me any trouble, So that's just interesting. And I'm not saying shading inks give trouble, but I don't worry about whether they shade or not. It's just a happy surprise. And also, I think it depends on the paper, because a lot of inks behave differently on my cherished CVS caliber, which is cheaper, and than they do on Tomoe River. There's a little bit different, even though it doesn't bleed through the CVS caliber, and you know, there's just so many variables. But I like this anyway, even though it breaks my #1 rule of not making generalized statements in the hobby. It's fun. And I think there's something to glean from it. So let's just go and get on my little no-tech chart and we'll go through these inks. I hope it won't be a whole hour, but it could be, because this is like, oh my goodness, this is more than double the number of pen brands. So obviously I have a lot to say about inks. So I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, here we are. Now this is really something, you can't see it, but down in front here there's even more stickies, and then there's all of these ink brands. So I'm just going to be putting them up here and hoping they fit. I did leave extra room near Inkjoy so that I could maybe do two lines, because that seems to be where a lot of these fall. I have hardly met an ink that I don't like, but there are some specifics. So let's go over like my general criteria first. I care about flow and saturation. I need to be able to see the ink on the page. You know, if it's too light, I'm really disgusted. And then again, there's also like a sheen monster or a really, really heavy ink that is just thick. Then on that opposite end, I don't like that either. So there's a sweet spot for me with saturation where it's readable, it's pretty. And that's the next one, the color. I have to like the color, you know, the colors. And so generally speaking, like, how do I feel about the brand and their colors that they make and stuff like that? So, and then I want the ink to be safe for my pens. I don't have vintage pens, but I have a lot of demonstrators. So that really matters, because you can, you know, and I found out by accident that one ink that I was so excited about was just a stainer, and I didn't realize. And so one of my friends stained their, well, pen friend Marilyn stained their Noodler's Ahab Clear with Noodler's King Philip Requiem. But we're going to talk about it. In fact, Noodler's is an interesting animal in my book. So it's the only brand where I broke it down between their non-permanent, their like, say, their eel inks and others, and then their base state and permanent inks, because I want to differentiate. But other than that, I didn't do that, because almost all the ink brands have some form of iron gall or permanent ink, but I'm not into that a lot. But I have been caught off guard. So that's where, let's move over to what I'm saying about each one. Okay, so the top of the top is best of the best. Like, that's going to be my, like, the ones that I can breathe easy. I know whatever I pick up by them, I'm going to love it. It's going to be okay. Then there's Inkjoy, where, you know, I love their inks. I just love them. But maybe I have to be just, you know, and this isn't even a cautious category. This is just to differentiate between like my absolute favorites up here and then my favorites, like my really good ones. So Inkjoy, I call it. And then mileage varies is where, you know, there can be some that I just absolutely adore and some that are definitely not for me. And then warning label is where I feel like maybe a significant number of inks in that brand need a warning label of some kind, and I'm sure Marilyn would have appreciated one sooner on the King Philip, but sorry about that. Anyway, and then there's not for me, where it's probably fine. In fact, it is, but they aren't for me for whatever reason. I'm not sure what we're going to find in that. I really don't. And then there's the incomplete, where I've had a little bit of experience with like Troublemaker, Vinta, Franklin Christoph, Sid's Cruise Knot, Papier Plume, Califolio, Caran d'Ache, Lennon Toolbar, Monarch. I just didn't make separate tickets on those because I don't feel like I had really enough to say. But this is quite a few This is, what did I tell you, 44? We're going to do 44, so I don't even know where to begin. So I'll just start picking. Okay, KWZ seems like it's going to like come right off, so we'll start with KWZ. I'm going to try not to have all that focus and non-focus this time. Okay, so I love KWZ inks. I just feel like right away, okay, flow, saturation, color, safe, price, definitely they win on price. I'm going to put it, I'm going to put KWZ and Inkjoy. And I'm going to put it up here because I do believe I've left just enough room for a second row. And I think that's what we're going to end up with. So definitely, I love KWZ inks. I have several. In fact, one of my very favorite inks, KWZ Monarch, it's a Fonto Plumo exclusive, is in that brand, but I haven't had even a single sample of KWZ ink that I didn't like. I know they have some iron gall ones that I'm not sure, you know, whether I'm equipped to handle them or whether they would, I probably wouldn't put them in my demonstrators till I understood better. So there is a little area that I'm lacking in that, but okay, if I do this, it's going to take forever. Okay, Robert Oster. Robert Oster inks are fantastic. And you know what? They're a little bit drier if you want to be general, but you can't be really because it depends on the ink. But so there's that. But then they have beautiful saturated inks and beautiful colors. But color is the strongest to me. My love of Robert Oster is their beautiful, unique colors. And I do feel like they're totally safe and the price isn't bad. So definitely, here's another one for Inkjoy. Yeah, as much as I love them, and maybe we'll move them up, I don't know. But I have quite a few, but I just feel like I'm reserving this top slot for my absolute favorite. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, gosh, I'm going, okay. Tasha, here's one that I haven't actually written with for a while, but oh my goodness, a flow, definitely good, and everything I've tried anyway. So, I've heard a little rumblings about it being dry, but I never, with my broad nibs, and I never ran into that. Saturation, you know, I'm satisfied. I have many colors of theirs that I love. Colors, safe, I feel like it is, and the price is great. Okay. I'm not even going to say mileage varies. I think it's Inkjoy. We're going to end up filling that, I'm afraid, but okay. Okay, so then let's see. Here's one, Private Reserve. Okay, I have one bottle of Private Reserve, but I've tried many samples, and excellent flow, excellent saturation, beautiful bright colors, safe. I can't remember how much they cost, so that must mean they're not hideously outrageous. I do remember that some bleed through on certain circumstances, but I think that would just be ridiculous for me to. Yeah, I could almost say mileage varies, but I don't think I can because I would rather put it in incomplete than mileage varies. So let's put it in incomplete for now, but I love what I've seen of it. Okay, and this is very like spontaneous. I understand that this is not this is not real scientific. Hong Dian. Okay, I had a really fun time with this. Pen friend Kathy sent a bunch of samples, and then now I do have 2 full bottles. I just fell in love with it. I didn't feel like their colors were all that different or unique, but gosh, the price of the ink is crazy good. And I had no problems cleaning it out. The colors were really pretty, and the saturation and flow hit the spot. So yeah, I was just like, what? I mean, how can they do that? How can they make it so affordable? I don't know, but it is. Okay, let's see, what are we doing? If I start picking and picking, okay. No, I don't know. Bunga Box. Okay, here's one. Bunga Box. Now, I just love, I'm trying to think, Lamont is my favorite, but I also had another one that was a blue-black that was just gorgeous, and several other samples. So the flow and saturation was wonderful, and the color, safe. Okay, I'm not sure that that's 100% on not going to stain something, but, and the price is high. So, Even so, it's definitely ink joy. Gee, I'm afraid that's all we're going to have. No, it isn't, I don't think. Okay, let's make sure we don't. Okay, let's go on to this one. Let's just go right into the controversy. Here's Noodler's, when I'm talking about the base date and the permanent ones. So flow and saturation is wonderful. Colors are out of this world. No, it's not really safe. For me, for my pens, I just don't want them stained, and I worry about the clean out and stuff. And the price is great, but I would put a warning label on those. That's all. I would just make sure that people knew. And you know, I had to live and learn. I had to learn the hard way with that, because I bought a whole like great huge bottle of King Philip, and I love the ink. It's beautiful, but oh my goodness, it's like scary. Okay, here's one, Roar and Klinger. Okay, I love their inks. They flow great. There's beautiful saturation and colors. Oh my goodness, I've got 2 bottles right up there. I'm trying to think what they're. I can see them from here.
He lives in your house, you know.
Acacia. I could not think of the purple ink. And then there's the gorgeous Solferino, but there's more than that. I love this ink. It's, wow, gosh, I'm almost tempted to put that up in the best of the best. And the price is great. Yeah, so that's kind of a like, I'm going to put it over here. Wait, you can't see that, so I can't. Well, I guess I'll put it here for now. I shouldn't be so literal. I am, and that always trips me up. Okay. Pure pens. Pure pens. I have, thanks to pen friend Annie, tried a whole bunch of theirs, and the flow was great, the saturation, the colors were gorgeous. It was safe. I felt like it cleaned out really well. And price-wise, I haven't purchased it myself, but definitely looked really good. Let's see, we're going to move, we have to move some of the ones that haven't been done yet. I knew this was going to happen. Okay, Pure Pens goes in Ink Joy, definitely. Okay, here we go. All right, here's one, Scribo. Scribo inks. I had the wonderful experience of having Van Ness send me a bunch of samples of their ink, of the Scribo ink. I think it's expensive. That's an impression that just lingered with me. But it may be because the bottles are so big. But it was definitely, I felt it was safe. The colors were gorgeous. The saturation and flow was just, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's wonderful. And probably if I'd had a bottle or 2, I would be putting it up in the best of the best. I don't know. All right, so let's see. Trying not to, okay, Parker inks. This was thanks to pen friend Jason sending, or Wasky Squirrel, sending samples, and then I bought 2 bottles because I really liked it, and I felt like it was a good ink to try, like what he does, try the ink in the pen that you maybe wonder about, but flow and saturation is good. It's just very safe ink, and I know that because I could trust what he says, and the price is right. So it's definitely Ink Joy. Okay, let's see here. Levenger. Levenger, I have had several samples from not just pen friend Kathy, but someone else has sent some in the past. I'm thinking pen friend Karen, but I'm not sure. Definitely has wonderful flow and saturation. Maybe a little high on the flow, actually, because I felt like it might bleed through some papers. Colors, you know, you guys that know me know that Levenger Pinkley is one of my favorites. And safe, well, I feel like it's safe. It's just that it's definitely a wet ink. That's my impression, and the price is good. But I do feel like my mileage varied as far as paper with the Levenger, but I could go between mileage varies and incomplete. But I think I'm complete. I think I just need to remember on that I need to be very specific if I'm looking for a color, thinking about buying from Levenger. I need to make sure that it will work with the papers that I have. And that means watching, like, say, Adam on the Ink Guy, and, you know, other people's reviews to see, you know, can they tell me something that would help me understand which papers that ink worked on. Okay, here's another one, Conklin. Beautiful flow and saturation and colors and safe, and the price is right. I think it's antique turquoise that I just fell in love with. I still haven't purchased it because I have other turquoises, including Lamy turquoise, but that's ink joy for me. Conklin, I love it. There's so many of these. I almost felt like it was too much, but it's the way it turned out. I mean, I have been playing with ink for so long. Okay, so the Kobe inks. This, I think, right away, without even thinking about it, needs to go in incomplete because I just haven't had tons of experience, even though there's a beautiful pink Kobe ink that I love. I'm going blank on the on the actual name of the ink, but I feel like they're wonderful inks, and they're pricey, and I would rather put it in incomplete because I think more study, more looking at that would be necessary. Okay, and Pannonia. This was pen friend Kathy that sent a bunch of samples, and I was already in love with this ink because Van Ness used to throw in like 1 or 2 little samples, and you know, little things with my orders, and they did that for me too. And the flow, saturation, colors. I don't know about the price. I don't remember, but my impression is that it was affordable, and I just felt like they cleaned out. It was definitely ink joy on the Pannonias. Yeah, I just did like I think a series not that long ago on those. Let's see, how are we doing? Are we getting real? We're getting kind of crowded here. Let's see, that's down too far to keep an eye on. Okay, how about cross inks? Cross inks, I have 2 of my very favorite inks are the cross black and the cross violet. The flow and saturation are just right. The color is beautiful. It's been safe for me, and the price was right. So that, oh gosh, and that competes for up here. But then I started looking down, wondering, okay, yeah, I think it has to be, because it just can't, I don't like to write with any other black ink. I don't know why. Okay, Aurora. Okay, Aurora is one where I think it was Ink Flight, Ink Journal that did Ink Flight with Aurora inks once, because I definitely have some experience with it. It was really flowy, almost too wet for me. Saturated and beautiful. I felt like it was safe, and I think the price is high. But that's just, you know, I'm going to have some generalizations that are only from long ago memory. So I have not had bottle ink of this, so I'd rather put it in incomplete. But I gave you a few impressions at least. Okay, how about Van Diemen's? Here's Van Diemen's. Okay, now this ink I've had a lot of experience with, some bottles, lots of samples, and I generally have really good flow and saturation and beautiful colors, and I know it's affordable. I feel like it's safe, but I do think that mileage varies on these. I'm a little bit more careful about bottles I get from them. You know, I want to make sure that it's not going to be, that it's going to work well, like in their shimmer inks, and to make sure I'm going to have enough flow. But they're gorgeous. Oh my goodness. I would say, like right off the bat, color and price is just something they really have going for them in that ink brand. Okay, and here is Conway Stewart. This is pen friend Matthew that sent me samples of Conway Stewart, and you know, the colors weren't like what I would call exciting and different, but the flow was great, the saturation was just right, and they were safe inks. And now I don't know about the price, I don't know, but I will say that it was definitely ink joy. Like I was relaxed writing with the Conway Stewart inks, and they were really pretty. Not, you know, they weren't those wild white. No, Coco, I'm sorry, but I don't think you fit up here, honey. Oh, Coco wants to come up, and if he does, we won't be able to see what I'm doing even. It's okay. I'll be done in a minute. He was a little upset yesterday because we were gone all day. Okay, so here's Ackerman. Ackerman, I just have this immediate impression that it's usually a little bit drier than my preference. which is interesting because I can't see the tile for, yeah, okay, now I see it. Anyway, I compare everything with Pilot, so that makes that makes a difference. But they've got beautiful, beautiful colors. They've got that wonderful bottle with the marble stopper. So I hesitate just a little bit on theirs, but I don't have extreme lot of experience. Saturation, yeah. Colors, definitely. Safe, I believe it is. Price, I mean, you get a great big huge bottle of ink, so I'm sure the price is good. But I'm going to say mileage varies. I would want to like look at some reviewers that are currently reviewing ink before I would invest in a bottle. Okay, here's one. Krishna. Let's see, where are we at? Whew, we're almost a half an hour in. Krishna inks made in India. Flow and saturation, they're super saturated in my book, the ones I've run across, and they're beautiful. So they've got that color thing going for them. On the other hand, sometimes I feel like it's too thick. Safe, I do have the impression that I want to think about what pen I put them in, just because of the fact that my cleaning situation might be rough. So, but I love them, and they come in these little bottles. I think are they 10 mil? They're something small, or 18. They're really small. Let's see. I should have one right up here, but I tend to cover them with little postcards and things, kind of give a little bit of a less light coming in on my ink. Let's see, where are we going to put this? Not warning label. It's definitely Inkjoy because of the colors, and I've never really had a horror with a Krishna ink. I don't know. It could easily go in Inkjoy, but then I think I want to pay more attention to the specific ink. So I'm going to put that in mileage varies, because that's what I mean by that. I think I want to, be careful before I get a bottle. Okay, seems like we already did Diplomat, but maybe we didn't. Diplomat is one where I've tried several samples, and I loved the ink. It had good flow and saturation, and the colors were fun. I felt like it was super safe, and the price was definitely right. So let's see. Can't put it in mileage varies because I felt like it was really steady. Huh. Let's put it in Inkjoy. Inkjoy is filling up fast. Ooh-wee. Okay. Let's see. But I've got almost all of the ones that are down below. So I only have one more, which is Platinum. I'll put that up there. Okay, so so what you see here is what's left. So Organic Studios. I don't have a ton of experience, but I have enough to know that there ought to be a warning label on that nitro. What is it called? Oh my goodness, Organic Studios something. Nitro, oh my goodness, I can't remember that. Anyway, I'm putting it in warning label because that experience alone, which I knew what I was talking about before I came on here, but I don't hold inks in my mind that I haven't used in a long time. Organic Studio something. You'll put it in the comments. Please, someone, put it in the comments for people because I can't remember. It was a wild experience, let's put it that way. So Graf von Faber-Castell. I right away love this because their stone gray is enough to put it in best of the best for me, which is probably not fair, but it just flows well. It's nicely saturated. It's a medium gray ink, but here I'm kind of doing the whole ink brand based on one ink, but it's my forever gray ink, and it's safe. It is a little pricey, so that's something that I haven't even reordered because, I know better than to keep doing that when I have other inks I need to finish up. And I do have a little bit remaining, but it's hard. I can't not put that in best of the best. I don't know why, but there it goes anyway. Okay, let's see. Here is Platinum. Platinum inks. Now, Pen Friend Karen, I think, sent a whole little series of samples of this years ago, and it had great flow and saturation. The colors are really, really pretty. There's a silky purple in this line that I just love. It's safe, and the price is right. So it was Inkjoy for sure. Let's see. I know we're gonna end up with a problem there because we are fast filling everything up. Okay, let's get one of these. Let's get Well, here, I'm really kind of dying to get this one in. Okay, it's time. I didn't pick on it first. Pilot Iroshizuku inks. You know they're my favorite. You know where they're going to go. But it's because of the flow being just right. And I don't feel like it's a runaway train like it is with, like, say, some of the Noodler's inks. The saturation is great. The colors are wonderful. You know, now I'm not, you know, yeah, Yamabudo. Think about some of those colors we have in the Konpeki and the beautiful, beautiful azalea. So, I mean, I'm done. It's going in best of best. You guys that have watched me know that, but I just wanted to go over it. Now, the price, okay, 50 mil, it's up there in price, but you got to shop around and you can find a good deal. So I wouldn't let that bother me because it makes up for it in quality. So, okay, oh, here comes Coco. Oh, dear. Okay, we'll let him inspect. How are we doing, Coco? Oh, dear. Oh. Well, that was just a drive-by. Poor Coco, but it's pretty delicate here, the setup that I got going. Oh, hopefully you got to see it a little bit. I guess you got to see his fur. Okay, so next is Waterman. Waterman inks are wonderful. I don't have a ton of bottles of them. I think 2 bottles, and then I've had other samples. But they are really, really, really good. And I have a safe feeling about them. The price is right. The colors are great. You know, now I'm not getting wild colors from them, no, but it's saturated and the flow is just right. It's ink that you can put in any pen and see how things are going, especially Serenity Blue, I think it is, that I use. Okay, so there we go. We got a mess here. Okay, here's one, another one, Pelikan. Now, Pelikan Edelstein is what I'm referring to, but there's I didn't break this down, but Pelikan has the 4001 line and the Pelikan Edelstein. And the 4001 is not as dry and they flow really great. I really love the 4001. Let's see if there's anything like, well, no, the bottles are all stacked up there and it's gonna take 3 hours if I do that. So I probably should have broken it down, but I do think that Pelikan for me belongs in mileage varies because like Pelikan Edelstein Star Ruby is one of my favorites. And there are others that I like a lot. But I do have to be careful because I like it to be really flowy and really nice, you know. Anyway, we'll put Pelikan in mileage varies. It's not a bad thing. It just means pay attention, real good attention. It's not like I can just order any color in their line and be satisfied with it. Okay, so here's Tom's Studio. Tom's Studio. Pen friend Annie sent me a whole bunch, and so did pen friend Kathy. So I have had generous samples in just about almost the whole line, and I can say, oh wow, these inks, I don't even have words to. I don't really understand fully yet why I like them so much, but I know that they just flow really, really well and they're pretty. The saturation is great. And I mean, I didn't buy them, so I can't really say anything about the price other than I have an overall impression that they're affordable and safe. So, but you know, after writing with them, I think they belong up here in best of the best. And it surprises me that more have landed up there than, you know, I didn't expect that, actually. Okay, so then here is Lamy. We're getting all confused here, I'm sure, because we're running out of space. But it's eventually going to, here, let me just pull these off. We'll put them down because it's going to get confusing. Maybe it already has for you. Hopefully not, but I'll just pull them down to the front so that I can have a free runway for where I'm going to put the rest of these. I told you there were going to be a lot, 44, and that's crazy. Okay, let's see here. Ferris will press. Okay, well, we're doing Lamy next, but, oh, we haven't even got Diamine up there yet. Okay, Dominant Industry. Okay, so now other than this criteria page here, we'll probably have to move that a few more times, but okay, so how about Lamy inks? I I have had mixed results with Lamy inks, like Lamy Dark Lilac, Lamy Turquoise. Those are two of my very favorites. So, and I've had some where I just didn't, I felt like, ooh, this ink is kind of dry. I don't know. And I didn't fall in love with it. I didn't think it was great. So I'm going to say mileage varies, because I would not just snatch it up. Unless it was purple. If they start doing what they've been doing, had done, you know, they're with dark purple. I think I actually need a sip of coffee. That's terrible. I have it here. It was like my little incentive. I hope it's not cold. Nope, it's just right. And I've got my husband's mug. Don't ever give up. I love it. Okay, so are we ready to do the final stretch here? Okay, let's just do TWSBI. TWSBI inks, like, weren't on the scene at first when I came into the hobby, but all of a sudden they put out this wonderful 6-set little set of bottles like this here, and I just had to have them. And I have fallen in love with several of these. Definitely the Royal Purple, but every single one in that first set of 6 was just best of the best for me. Now, I have also tried some of the other ones in the larger bottles where they were more, I don't know that they're permanent, but they had a lot of water resistance, and I didn't like it. So I think I'm probably, the impression that these smaller ones have made on me, even when they continued and they did the crimson and the green one, you know, they're very basic, but they're really nice. I like them a lot. And so they're right up there in the top of Inkjoy for sure. And would be best of the best if I didn't already know that, well, some of the ones they've come out with I wasn't crazy about. Okay, Sailor. Now, I like Sailor inks. I love Sailor ink as much as I do not love their pens. So that is a real discrepancy there, but I love Sailor inks. They have beautiful flow and saturation and unique colors, which is one of the things I really love. And I have, okay, there was maybe Sailor Ackaby might have been a little bit, not a warning label level, but be careful with your demonstrators kind of thing. But other than that, that's about the only one I've encountered. Okay, and they are a little bit pricey. But I don't let price influence where it goes on this board, I don't think. I think obviously if I did, it would be down here. I would have, hey, I don't have any Not For Me yet. Oh my. Yeah, well, maybe Organic Studios, but that's not fair for me to base the line on that one nitrogen or whatever it's called. So I think Sailor belongs in the best of the best for me. And it's funny because I thought I'd only have about 5 up there. All right, Monteverde. Now, Monteverde inks are really affordable. They got some fantastic colors. They're made in the US, I think. Or they're, okay, I shouldn't have said that, but I think they are. But flow, saturation, colors, they feel safe, and the price is right. There's just one thing with Monteverde, and that is I have never encountered this, but people have had it, some batches, like, go bad, get mold, get bad. And I haven't had it, but people have. But, oh, this is Inkjoy for me. I love Monteverde inks. And they have some of their, like California Teal and Canyon Rust and Purple Rain. I could just go on and on. Yeah, they're really, really good. They're almost best of the best. But I think I always have that in the back of my mind. Is it going to be, am I going to be unlucky? But, so maybe tomorrow it would end up in best of best. I don't know. Okay, Diamine. It's about time we talk about Diamine. It's one of the brands I have probably more little 30 ml bottles of Diamine than almost anything. Flow and saturation are great. The colors are beautiful. It feels safe to me. The price is right. This is just a stellar ink. And, you know, there are a few where the saturation or the sheen just gets me. It's too much. I do like sheen, but I don't like it to take over where every letter you see just more of the sheen than the color. But other than that, but yeah, this is definitely Ink Joy. Gosh, and it really, I don't know. Maybe when we finish, I'll look over one more time and see whether I ought to move some of these. I don't know. Okay, here's Ferris Wheel Press. Ferris Wheel Press I've had a lot of fun with. They brought me in as far as like sending me, they saw some of my reviews early on and then ended up sending me a lot of ink before they started their sponsorship program, and where people, you know, then there became things about a contract and stuff like that, and I didn't want to go that route. But I have a lot of bottles from them, and not so many samples. Almost everything is bottles, and they, you know, when it's good, it's fantastic, top of the line, and when it's too lightly saturated, oh, it's terrible. So I do notice that mileage varies greatly on these Ferris Wheel Press, and the bottle is a little bit problematic in the little flat bottles, the 38 mil, but that's kind of something I got around by making a little stand, you know, and I don't have it right here, but flow and saturation is great on my favorites like Algonquin Maple and the Poupon, I think it's, you know, Goose Poupon, and several others I really liked. It seems to be a safe ink. Why do I think it's pricey? I guess I just do. But, gosh, I think we haven't even gotten to the most. I know I paid quite a bit for a Bunga Box ink, and one of the others is still down below. I'm going to say mileage varies on this because I'm not just going to embrace any color they come out with, because, you know, sometimes you can't see it coming out of like a spatula or whatever. But other than that, they've got some really pretty ones, you know. Okay, Laban. Now, Laban inks, I don't have their whole line. I've tried like maybe 3 or 4. And I was super impressed. And they're a pen company too, but I've never tried one of their pens. So flow and saturation is right on. The color is beautiful. It definitely cleaned out well, and the price was right. So it's an Ink Joy, I'm sure. We're running out of room. Let's see. Oh, we're running out of room so badly. Even though I gave 2 lines for Ink Joy. Okay, Birmingham. Birmingham inks I have almost exclusively sample experience with, and they have some gorgeous and creative inks. Flow and saturation is great, color is great, they feel like they're safe. I've never had one that wasn't, and the price is right. There's only one thing about their inks that bothers me, is that if you fall in love with one, it may not be around, it may not be made the same again, like, and that's just, you know, that's pretty minor. It is pretty minor. The other thing is that now they don't do samples of them, as far as I know, unless they've changed that. So not being able to get a sample and not knowing for sure, like somebody on a budget like me is not going to snatch up colors as they come out. I'm going to wait and make sure I'm getting the right one that I like. And if I don't have a sample, and it might not be around. So I'm going to say mileage varies, but I have a very happy, you know, feeling about the brand in my mind. Just keep that in mind, I guess, would be what I would say. Okay, J. Arbonne. Okay, this ink, I love this ink. And it costs, you know, it's not necessarily the most expensive, but you get your flow and your saturation and your beautiful colors, and their shimmer inks are just the best. Like I don't know that I'd even have any shimmer inks, hardly, if it wasn't for them, because I prefer them. And I feel like that they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for like a long time. I can't think right off the bat how long they've been around, but they are best of the best for me. Okay, and then Mont Blanc inks. Okay, I don't have a lot of experience with this, but that psychedelic purple is like my favorite, and it's and I definitely feel like it's got beautiful flow. The ones I've tried, let's see, there's another one that's kind of a limited one. I'm looking at Coco. He's laying down near the little plug-in faucet, looking at it like something's going on. I have to make sure I keep that topped off and everything. Okay, anyway, back to let us focus. I have a really good feeling about Mont Blanc inks, even though I know they're pricey. That's probably the most I've ever spent for an ink, is that psychedelic purple, if I'm not mistaken. But I never regretted the purchase. And I can't say not for me, because it is for me. You know, that one is anyway. But generally, I don't go looking even at what they have, because there's a couple I've seen. There's one that's a liquor name that was Pen Friend Carrie, Pens and Tea, talks about, but I don't even want to get, I don't want to get thinking about that, because I don't want to spend the money. I think I got a sample of it though. Okay, so what am I going to say? Oh, I know what I'm going to say. The truth. I just don't have enough experience. It's incomplete, really. I can't be, you know, I can't really be saying much about that. Okay, so now we'll talk about noodlers. The ones that are not permanent, that wash out real easy, like the eel line and others that are, like I'm thinking Purple Mountain Majesties, and what used to be Navajo turquoise. I guess it has a new name now. Okay, flow, saturation, color, safety of these anyway, and price. Yeah, I really love a good Noodler's ink, but I don't buy it anymore, and I'm thinking it's a lot of ink. It's like three, what do they call ounces? You know, you get these great big bottles. Yeah. And then there was all the controversy, which I have very, very little way to evaluate, because I don't, yeah. So I don't know. I can't say not for me, because I am going to use up and enjoy the rest of my noodlers, and I think I have to give the benefit of the doubt, I think. But anyway, that's controversial, and that's okay. I'm just going to be honest. That's the only thing I can do. I consider noodlers, the ones that wash out well, to be ink joy for me. Okay, we only have 4 left, and one of them is Dominant Industry. I've checked out many samples of Dominant Industry, and I have 1 bottle, I think. I'm thinking there's a red Christmassy shimmer one in that brand that pen friend Kathy spoiled me to death with samples of that, and it's so wonderful. But I don't know, but I feel like sometimes they lean toward drier and not quite as much flow. But there's beautiful, beautiful colors, and they feel safe. I haven't had any problems. It's an awfully small bottle for the price, but I just don't go buying this ink, and I'm wondering why. Maybe because I got so much. It's not a warning label, and to say not for me, well, isn't that funny? I made a whole category, and nothing has gone in there yet. Huh, I don't know if that means I need to refine this chart, or whether that was a dud category. Like, isn't that something? Well, that's the way it turned out. I actually thought something was going to go there, though. Maybe, yeah, I don't want to go into that. But I guess I explained pretty well that it's because I'm worried about it. Okay, where does Dominant Industry go? It's not for me, because I actually think that that red one with the shimmer, yeah, if I ever got to get a bottle, I would. And it's not really incomplete. Mileage varies, because we're dealing with an ink that maybe I just don't know whether it's going to flow well enough for me. Okay, I guess we solved that. Okay, so De Atramentis. I don't have a lot of bottles of their ink, but I've got Alexander Hamilton, and is the one I have a bottle of, and then tons of samples. In fact, I have samples I haven't even really tried. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip. It's just right, but it's going to be cold pretty soon. De Atramentis Elderberry is on my wish list. I just really want that ink, but I can't seem to get it together when I'm ordering, to find a place that has it, that has something else that I need, and I hate to pay shipping for. Anyway, I have a really good opinion of De Atramentis inks. So I feel like it's another ink joy, and maybe I just have to get over the fact that it doesn't really fit, but it's got to go there. Okay. So it's on that end. Let's see if we can, oh, if we do anything, we're just going to, let's see if we go back a little further. Okay. Whew. Don't breathe on anything. Okay, we got two more. Kaweco. Kaweco makes ink. I guess you probably know that unless you're new to the hobby. And flow and saturation have been good. I think in one of the lighter orange ones, maybe I wasn't quite as happy with. But gosh, they have some pretty colors, and it's definitely safe, and the price is definitely right. So, you know, I don't seek it out, but it's because I have so many. So I believe we're dealing with another one that needs to go in the Inkjoy, because I have, I'm thinking there's a purple one and a green one that I super love. Yeah, it's Inkjoy. I mean, I would even recommend it and say you do just fine. So that's kind of messy, but anyway. Oh, how did we get Colorverse last? Colorverse is one of my favorite inks. They tend to flow really well, and they've got some beauties like, you know, Supernatural and Gravity Wave are two of my very favorite all time. And then there's all these others that I've had like in the little sample sizes, or 15 mil and 30 mil, you know, others, because it's pricey, but the ink has been safe for me, and the colors are gorgeous. And yeah, I feel like Colorverse for me is best of the best. Okay, let's take a breath here, drink a little bit more coffee, and see what we've got. I can't believe that was such a dud there. And even warning label. We'll think this over here in the next. I wish this was live. Then I could see your comments and stuff. And we could brainstorm it out. But I think this is pretty much like this off the cuff. But I don't think there's a lot of rethinking to do here. Let's see. Because I had all these incompletes. Let me bring it closer so you can see. I just felt like I really couldn't, I don't know, Troublemaker. I had only one impression. I don't like the name of the brand, because if you tell me it's a Troublemaker ink, I'm not putting it in my pens. But there were several of those that had shimmer that I was scared of, and I don't remember why. Whether it was something someone told me, or I heard on another video, or whether it was just silly because of the name. And then Vinta inks, Vinta Macopa is one of my favorite, but I don't have enough experience with the brand overall. And then Franklin Christoph, I had just one like blue ink from them, I think, or maybe a couple. And there weren't any wow colors, but it was great, but I just don't have enough experience. And then Sitz Krusnop, I've done Palm Green and Orchid, but that's it. So it was like, okay. And then Papier Plume, I had the impression that was one of those like Levenger that might flow so well, so much that it was too much, but it's way too general of an impression. Califolio, I don't have enough experience with. Karen Dash, a pen friend, and I was going to say where they're from, but that's silly to do that. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm picturing what I think the name is, but I don't want to get it wrong. Sent a bunch of samples early on of that, and a Karen Dash, it's a pink. It's something pink. It's gorgeous. It's almost a red ink, but that's not enough experience to put it in a category. Lennon Toolbar, I think I have one or two by them, and that's not enough experience. And then Monarch, I've got a couple samples, but I haven't tested thoroughly enough, you know, to like really be confident of where to put it. So I think it's okay to just admit that it's just like I don't have enough experience in this. Okay, so that's it. But since I seem to just want to keep talking, let me just flip the camera around and we'll just have a chat our way out of here. Okay, well, that was the most fun I've had in a long time. It almost makes me wish that I had started with the ink one, you know, but it was, I don't know, it just broke the ice. It was fresh on my mind the other day to do the one on the pen brands. And it's interesting. It's super interesting to me that I have a lot more interaction with ink brands than I do with pens. It makes sense. It kind of makes sense because I really, I got into the hobby because I wanted to be able to refill pens. I wanted to have all these pretty colors. I was kind of limited to like, you know, your Pilot G2 colors in the beginning, you know, well, before I got back into fountain pens. So ink was my number one, you know, thing, and it still is, but I can see now by looking at how many brands I've written with and tested, and you know, I can see how for a while there it was like, oh, I just want to use my favorite bottled inks, and that's kind of where I'm at now. But I still have a great excitement for all the different colors that are out there. I'm just no longer really wanting to like try another turquoise or another, well, maybe I would on turquoise, but you know, I'm not sure I want to try another, what's a good color for the blue black maybe, you know, maybe I'm all set with my Diamine Oxford blue is my favorite and I don't need to go look or whatever. So I have come to that point, which I think is good because after all, this is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of samples. So I think doing this just is like, yeah, it gives a wide angle. It gives a perspective from a distance, kind of, and it's a whole lot of fun. I really hope that a lot of people do this, and I hope that Hemingway Jones will do this with ink. I asked him to in the comments, and then I was thinking, why am I doing that? I should just go make the video if I'm that excited, right? But it's more fun. I'm doing this more for because I know it's fun to watch this kind of thing if you like ink. And so for me, the fun will be any of you that do it, please tag me or like send me an email or do something to make me aware if you do this. It's really easy. You just need like a half poster board and a bunch of sticky. I had to cut the ones I have were they're the large size. I don't even know where I put them now. They're gone. Anyway, the little yellow ones, I could not find the small size in Walmart. It was crazy. I'd never really not been able to find them. Those were the kind I always used in the Air Force. So anyway, I picked up the cheapest, you know, little packet, and then I had to cut them to make them the right size, but that's no big deal. I hope you enjoyed this, and I guess you could tell my depression has lifted, and there's still a lot of stuff I've got to deal with and that's upcoming, but I realize I cannot let go of making videos and connecting with pen friends, especially during a time when things are hard, because that's when we need the hobby more. And so, you know, I'm not suggesting that we exhaust ourselves by pushing, and when you can't, and you know that. But when inspiration strikes, that's when I really like to come and do a video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, even if you enjoyed it like 25% of what I enjoyed doing this, it is just fun. And it'll have me thinking probably for the rest of the, you know, for weeks about, I wonder, was that fair? Did I put that in the category? Will I rethink that and talk about it in a progress report? Because I like to come in the halfway point of each month and give a progress report on my pens. And actually, I'll give you a sneak preview, because if you watch this long, yeah, that is just incredible. Or maybe you're listening and doing your chores, but here's a little sneak peek of what's going to be inked up for March. But I don't know the inks yet, so I can't spoil that for you. I got to go and decide, and it's a good day to do that, because here I am with all these favorites right in front of me where I can kind of look and see, maybe I can vary it a little, because sometimes lately, to be honest, I just grab for the Pilot inks or the Diamine little ones that are right up here, and I don't really get back down into some of the other brands. But I think this is kind of, I'm thinking of shimmer ink. This has shook up the particles a little bit, so I'll let you go, because I don't think I've ever done an hour-long video, but it's so close to an hour, it's ridiculous. I don't know whether my poor Wi-Fi will, well, it's good Wi-Fi, but whether it will be sufficient to upload this. If it is, you'll be watching it. So I'll see you on the next video, which will definitely be Chris's inked pens. And let me know in the comments. I love to hear like where we agree, where we don't agree, what experiences you've had, because it's impossible to have complete experience with every single ink brand and color. You know, there's just so many. I was so naive when I came into the hobby thinking that I would get all of the purples. You know, I would just get one sample of each purple that there was. Maybe in 1970 or 80, that would have been possible, but there's been an explosion of companies and inks, and I'm sure I left at least one off, probably. I tried not to. I actually went through all 9 of my little currently inked booklets, and it was just flipped through and then jotted down. This is my messy messy page that I made in preparation, to try to figure out if I was going to be able to remember each one that I had each ink brand that I'd ever worked with. But the thank you goes to you guys, because so many viewers have sent me inks. I don't need any more. I actually think I can confidently say now I don't want any more, but there will be an ink that probably gets me off my chair or into my computer one day. But I try really hard now to use up what I have, and it's going to be a gargantuan task. So, I just went over an hour. I will see you next time. Bye for now.